welcome to the Boardcast. I'm Johnny Nixon. Today I have with me Mr. Matt Roberts with Uni HDD or Universal. Before we get into Universal, I mean, there's plenty to talk about there, but tell us a little bit about Matt Roberts.
Well, Matt Roberts started, gosh, I was toting rods for a 1510 straight line in 1996. Actually, first thing I ever did was I was on the fiber blowing crew.
I got you.
And I absolutely hated it. I don't like nothing to do with pulling cable or nothing else like that. But no, I started out toting rods for a 1510, and then the operator quit and moved up. I was the operator whether I wanted to be or not. So progressed from there, and shoot, I've run everything from that 1510 to, you know, up to 100 by 140 in the last 29 years. And of course, those days I wish I'd never even heard of a drill.
I can relate.
But, you know, it's paid the bills for that many years, so hey, I can't complain at all.
The 29 years, that's a pretty good while. So you know the drill.
I do know the drill for the most part.
I got you.
I don't know everything, but I know a lot of stuff.
And you're based out of?
I live in Samora, North Carolina, which is basically an hour northeast of Greensboro.
Okay. You're no stranger to no rock, then.
No, there's plenty of it up that way.
I damn sure believe it.
Plenty.
So now you've taken a position with Universal HDD.
Yes, I have. Started with them mid-January of this year. I always tell everybody, look, I'm a driller, ain't no salesman, but, you know, I can tell you everything the drill will do or won't do.
Yeah, well, people love that.
Yeah.
They love the honesty, and they like talking to another driller.
It seems like it's been going pretty good.
Yeah, so we've had a Uni for a 4055 for about 3 years now. It's actually in the background, reaming some rock. I'm a big fan.
Well, I really like them because, like I said, I owned one. So
yeah.
Their customer service was what sold me. A lot of people, you know, they're not familiar with Universal, or somebody they know had a bad experience 10 years ago, and that just turns them completely off. Well, that's not the way it is anymore, you know. I mean, our customer service, we can be reached 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, you know, so there's never a downtime, really.
So let's talk about what Universal's up to now.
Okay.
What all, they got drills of all sizes.
Yes, we just came out again with a 1220S hand-load machine that is going to be great. 74 horse Kohler diesel. They have really done good things with it, and we're actually going to incorporate, like I was telling you before, the automatic rod loading system, which is going to be, I think, really nice for that size machine, because it's running a 1.90 6-foot rod versus everybody else's 166. You know, you can put the 166 rod on it, but power-wise, it's probably not a good decision. And then, of course, we're building a 2022 bottom feed loader that carries 500 feet in the rack, which, in my opinion, is a whole lot better than the competition. A
2022 with 500 foot on board?
Yes, 500 on board. It's running the same 74 horse Kohler. Seem to be having good luck with that engine, but, you know, time will tell. But Kohler's pretty reliable in everything else they do, so I don't see this being different. But no, I mean, the 2022, the first one we've got built, and it's in testing phase at the factory. So, you know, just trying to get all the bugs worked out. We started out with Bosch hydraulic pumps. They didn't quite fit the bill, so we reconfigured everything, and they changed it all out, and they're doing something different. But that's one thing about Universal. Even if you buy a new drill, it's probably going to have 20 or so hours on it, just because it goes through that much testing at the factory before it leaves.
I got you.
Just, you know, so we want it to break there, not out on the job.
Now, side note, where are they manufactured?
Lake Zurich, Illinois, which is a northwestern suburb of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not made in Russia or Ukraine or wherever everybody thinks they are.
No, they're American made.
Yeah, they are American made, 100%.
And proud of it, I've noticed.
Yes, Universal, the guys up there, the owner, all the way down to myself, very, very proud to be, in the United States.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're good folks. And if they weren't, I wouldn't say that.
Now, mid-sized drills, we got 4055 behind us.
Right.
I'm a big fan.
Yep.
And they have several different options moving up the ladder there, don't they?
Yeah, the 4055 is the first in that line, and then it'll go up to a 60 by 90, and then the 80 by 120, 120 by 150, and they can be configured, rotation and thrust wise, kind of. For instance, the 120 by 150, we have a 24,000 pound torque option that you can get on that machine. So, obviously it's gonna be a little more money, but the 60 by 90s and 4055s, we can, do a little bit of everything with them. It's just not a cookie cutter. Here you go. This is what we build. Take it or leave it.
Right. So you have you have options.
Yes.
When you order a uni.
Yes. I mean, mud pumps. We can, to a certain extent, we can go up, and we tend to be overkill on the mud pump on everything.
Yeah. Better too much than not enough.
Exactly. Yep.
So mud pumps, hydraulics, or even controls.
I mean, you can switch them out. You can, the controls on the joysticks are obviously different from everybody else's, but we can change them around so that it makes the operator more comfortable.
Okay.
And it don't have to be, it's not a mechanical fix. It's a, something we can do from the factory to change the setup on the buttons.
Okay, so for customers' preferences, as say, put your vice buttons on the right joystick versus the left.
Right.
Not a problem.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Because ours is on the left, and just takes a little bit to get.
It's a learning curve, but
it's not a deal breaker.
My opinion is, if you can, don't matter what you've been running or whatever, if you can run a drill, operate, then a day, 2, 3, you should be getting pretty comfortable.
Right.
Yep.
And now, where they really shine at is some of their larger drills.
It is, yeah. That we have a lot of 250 by 400s that are working. Everybody seems to really like them. But, and we build drills up over 1 million pounds.
Yeah.
So, you don't see very many of those, but the 250 by 400 is very popular. And, we've got a few in between above it. Not many of them out there working in the United States. We also have a manufacturing plant in Germany.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we do. So, basically same setup over there, just in Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And some of the features I like is the cameras and
Yes. Yeah. You're never in the dark on anything, and especially with the new cabs, they're basically 360-degree view.
Yeah.
So, and a 6'5" person can stretch out in them. You're not cramped up. All your, and doesn't matter if you're running DCI or UMAG or our pilot bore system or whatever you're running, the display will be built in.
Now, let's talk a little bit. One of the things that everybody loves about Uni, it has how easily it is to maintain it and repair it in the field.
Right.
It's less likely to need a computer to diagnose.
Yeah, I mean, very, very rare situation that you need a computer.
Yeah. As good as y'all's customer service is, we very rarely need you.
Yeah, they do very well in that aspect. They don't have a bunch of junk on them that you don't need. It's simple. At the end of the day, anybody pretty much with any bit of mechanical knowledge can repair about anything on them.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Napa or like we was talking about, a Parker hydraulic store or any hydraulic shop and get pretty much any pump or any hydraulic motor or anything on them. I mean, they're very simple. Not a lot of bells and whistles.
The ideal for the guys that work on their own equipment.
I agree. Yes, and typically if you do need us, we're a day out. Don't matter where you're at in the United States.
Now, you told me something earlier about the onboard diagnostics. That's a new feature with the new
Yeah,
things.
the new diagnostic center, you can actually say, like I was telling you before, if you've got a joystick that goes bad or a button on a joystick that goes bad, you can pull up the virtual joysticks in that diagnostic center and physically touch the screen and operate the drill. So you're not down, you know. And at the end of the day, if that failed for whatever reason, you still have the hydraulic manual controls under the rod rack. Your 4055's got them.
I've seen them.
And you can physically get your shot done, or, you know, get the drill where it's mobile
Okay.
with those manual hydraulics.
That's a cool feature.
Yeah. So technically, unless you've got just a major blowout, then you're going to be able to, you know, get the drill where it needs to be. And that diagnostic center also, you know, I mean, you can dial up or down your thrust, your rotation, your basically anything on the drill hydraulic, you can adjust it with that screen.
Yeah, it's one thing I admire about it is how much control it gives the operator.
Yes.
It has the appropriate amount of bells and whistles, but not too much.
Right. Yeah, they don't overkill the electronics.
Right.
You know, they're very smooth. They you know, they're just a well-built machine.
Now, the rod loading system on a lot of them, like mine, it has we call it a cherry picker rod loading system.
Yep.
But now some of your smaller drills, they've come out with an underloading.
Yeah, like I said, we're incorporating that on the 1220, and then the 2022 is standard bottom feed, and the 25 you have the option. You can get a bottom feed or the top load.
Okay.
Whichever one you prefer. You know, a lot of the fiber guys that's trying to get 2,000 feet a day prefer the bottom feed, and I get it.
Right.
It is a little bit quicker, but like I gave my feedback at the factory. I said, look, if you've got a 40,000-pound machine and you're worried about that much speed, then you're not getting enough on the foot. You know, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But you know, they're not for everybody, but they work good.
Yeah. Well, we're a fan.
Yeah. I like them. I mean, especially for the bigger drills, because you don't want to be hand loading those rods no more than you have to.
And you have an impressive website with lots of good pictures.
Yeah, there is good pictures.
I've been admiring some of the bigger ones, and
yeah,
they're pretty.
Yeah, they are nice. They and of course the new cab also is I mean, it's fantastic, a lot better. And you get up into the I want to say on the 120 by 150, they incorporate a 2-seat cab. So you got, you know, if you're wirelining, your steer hand can be in there with you, or inspector, if so you so choose, or whatever.
Or a laborer trying to stay warm.
Yeah, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Now, how about locating systems?
We offer, you know, all the major brands, DCI, UMAG, and we actually also just started building our own, which is called a pilot bore system. They are similar to DCI. Matter of fact, I'll show you one. I got one in the truck.
Okay.
Probably not all the bells and whistles, like, you know, same as the drills, but they have, you know, they got the log feature, they've got roll offset, they've got all your major functions. And the standard sawn is, you know, they are rebar capable, so you don't have 3 different sawns in the truck.
Yeah.
For certain situations.
So passive interference, it can handle that really well.
Yeah, they do really well at that, and you know the remote display will work with any DCI locator as well.
Okay.
So you're not limited there. They both have built-in internal batteries with lifetime warranties on them, so you don't have batteries falling all over the floorboard and everything else with chargers and all that stuff. And they put a lot of thought in it, and you know, the price point is what I like.
Yeah, there's a significant difference.
Yes, as well as the sawns. There is a lot better price-wise.
And y'all can repair sawns and do all that in-house now.
Yes, we do have. We don't necessarily rebuild for the public. the Sons, but if you call and say, hey, I need a F5 or F2 Son or a subsite Son, chances are we got it in stock.
Okay.
And they come with a 180-day warranty, providing, of course, it ain't overheated or chewed up or whatever.
That never happens.
No. I've never lost a Son. Never.
Well, anything else you want to throw out there?
No, I mean, just give us a chance. I know a lot of you guys are pro Vermeer or pro Ditch Witch or whatever, but hey, it's worth a shot. I feel like our customer service is above and beyond most, and we can be reached again 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay.
So that's it in a nutshell.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Well, I appreciate everything you guys do.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Well, you ready to get out of here?
I am.
All right. Well, y'all have a good one, and thanks for listening.
Yep.